What's up, everybody? Frank here, and today we are talking about the topic that you all have just been dying to hear more about: fanny packs. Okay, so the specific fanny pack that we're going to go over right now is the Sheepdog Response fanny pack. I don't quite remember what they call it, but it really is the only one they have. It comes in a couple different flavors. And I'm going to give an overview on the Fanny, as well as maybe just a slight overview on the brand. It's not fair to talk about something just using one product when they offer tons of different things. However, I want to kind of go over the Fanny. All right, so this here is the black version of the same Fanny. I'm going to kind of show you what I have in there for a second, but let me just tell you a little bit about why I got it. All right, so I definitely wanted something to carry my firearm with in the summer, or when I'm wearing just like gym shorts or bathing suit, or just another option instead of lugging a backpack around, and also something that is multi-use, right? So you can use the Fanny without having to carry a firearm or anything like that, right? So I wanted to be able to find something multi-purpose that I can use, and plus all the cool guys were doing it with, you know, Joe Rogan and Tim Kennedy and all the manly men wearing fanny packs these days. You figured, why not, right? So I wanted to give Sheepdog Response a shot because I had bought a sling from them, which I will do a review on at a later date. I just think that, you know, the brand and everything they stood for, I thought it'd be something worth trying, okay? And no regrets on this fanny pack, right? So this fanny pack here, I don't even have the details on it, right? But maybe it's somewhere around the $70 range without any sort of sales. It's got the thin, almost like weather-resistant canvas here. It definitely has some weather-resistant lining. You can feel it, whatever that coating is. But within just a couple months of me having this bag, as an idiot, I slammed my buckle right here. I slammed the buckle in my truck door and it shattered. I wrote them and asked if they sold just the buckle. They referred me to the manufacturer of the buckle, but I had to buy, like, no joke, I had to buy like 60 of them in order for them to ship me a buckle. So I kind of just wrote it off, and what I did was I cut the straps off of it and turned it into just a medical pouch, which, you know, we could talk more on later, but this is a medical pouch that I usually keep in my EDC backpack because it is a relatively thin profile, right, the thickness here, but it's also wide enough that I can keep a lot of stuff in, so it's not going to make my bag bulge out. So with that being said, also a very pro feature of this Fanny is when you're wearing it, it does have a big footprint. I mean, that's a big Fanny. So that's what she said. But anyway, so it's big, but it's not really deep, so it's not like you've got this huge protruding object just sticking around your, you know, your side, your waistline, your chest, however you may keep this thing, right? So I said, you know what? Let me just buy another one from Sheepdog Response because I liked it, and I was all in, man. I was definitely all in. So I ordered another one about 6 months, 7 months after purchasing this first one. Well, this one came to me very, very similar. The dimensions are similar, the cut's similar. However, it's just canvas. It doesn't have that weather-resistant lining, barely on the inside, but it's just this canvas, and honestly, I don't like it. I don't like the material. The Fanny itself, it's the same, it's good. It is what it is. I don't like the canvas. So, you know, another thing here, right? I'm going to go over the features in a second, but these have just like a singular gridded like pull tab, whereas this one has these pull loops, which are definitely easier to, you know, yank and pull. I digress a little bit on that, okay? So I reached out to Sheepdog Response and I said, hey, what gives? This is not what you're advertising online. And they said somewhere in the fine print it says that it could be one of two versions. My guess is this was old stock, and I got it. And basically was kind of told tough luck. And it kind of sucks because I did buy these with my own money. I might have gotten a sale or something, but they were definitely north of 50, probably close to 60 bucks, right? So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. Again, I'm not going to use that to maybe identify the brand or the people there. They're a small business. I'm a small business. I'm supportive. I do like some of their other stuff with some like kind of caveats that we'll discuss, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there before I give a review on the Fanny itself. So I'm going to go ahead and in good faith say that when I'm reviewing this Fanny, I'm going to be reviewing this version, which I assume is the newer version and the better version, but I'm going to be using the old version because this one, well, is broken. So let's take a quick look at the Fanny itself and some of the features. So again, we kind of talked about it already, but you got that like softer, more weather resistant finish that I like. The pull tabs, again, they both have pull tabs. Let's just assume that they're going to come with these looped style pull tabs. I don't know if you can see that there as an example, right? Loop style pull tab. So your front pocket is just, you know, kangaroo pouch style. I'll show you in the other Fanny like how I use it. Inside, you're going to have another, you know, pouch here, and then it comes with this kind of a admin panel attachment. It comes with it these two loops for accessories or mags. I'll show you in a second. They're going to come with it, and forgive me, it's going to be loud, but alright, that panel comes off, and now you have a hook. You have a loop panel here. Trying to get the best angle as we figure out the lighting in this new studio. Alright, so you're going to have the loop panel here, and you know your hook admin comes with the bag. Okay, that's going to be the same in both bags. And then in the back here, this is actually one of the cooler features that I don't utilize as much as I should, but it's almost like a cell phone slot right there. I just, when I remember it, I usually drop my phone in there, or if I'm using a thin wallet sometimes I'll put it in there, but it's definitely handy. It's useful. This is a little bit padded, softer area here, and you do have like a hard, thin, you know, plastic backing in there, which is cool. All right, so again, this is the newer version. All right, two things I want to point out here. YKK zippers, which is nice. Again, you've got your now this stuff is very thin. It's a very thin nylon, I'm assuming, polyester or something like that. Anyway, so it's very thin. In the old version, which I'm going to show you here in a second, I have actually been pretty disappointed in this specific pack. Again, this one I loved. I wish I didn't break the damn buckle, but even so, the buckles weren't interchangeable because they must have upgraded everything to that point. All right, so here is my newer one, which is the older version, which is again annoying. Okay, same kangaroo style pouch. I'll show you kind of what I use this for, how I kind of keep it. So I kind of throw my wallet in there. I got my wallet, my AirPods, and then often my keys. I was working on something, so I threw in, got a adjustment tool for one of my optics, right? That was something I was working on. All right, now inside here, in this panel here, this is one of the things I want to show you that I was completely disappointed in. I did not have the issue with this fanny pack, so I'm gonna say as of right now, until maybe one of you wants to chime in or give me some feedback on it, but I think as of now, I'm going to say that the older version just had some flaws in it that need to be worked out. So you can see here that my hook paneling accessories like mag holders or whatnot, they were starting to catch all the material here, and it just kind of frayed it to no end. I kind of took a lighter to it just a tiny bit to prevent some more fraying, but you can see it was already pretty bad. It started to make holes directly in it. Does that prevent the usability of this? I mean, not really. It was catching on a lot of stuff. I typically keep chest seal in here. Chest seal and a tourniquet is what I usually keep in here. I took it out yesterday because I was doing something a little bit different with it, but anyway. So I usually keep some chest seal and a tourniquet in there. It doesn't have an impact. I'm not worried about anything falling out. But for a newer product that frayed and fell apart so easily, I mean, it is pretty disappointing, Again, this one did not, so I'm going to kind of say 50-50. If you get one of these newer ones, I think that you are going to be much better off. And, I mean, look at that color and everything. I freaking loved this thing. I really did love this thing. I used it all the time. Anyway, so in here, I'm going to show you what I use those like side elastic loops for. So you can see I just throw a little flashlight in there. I've got a Baton 3. I just went with a purple one because I got a pink and black holster and I liked to add a little bit of color to my life. Alright, and then I've got a Civive Elementum knife. I believe it's called the Elementum. Right here. I generally leave this knife and this flashlight in here because I don't want to get in the habit of taking things in and out and then forgetting like, ah, crap, I left it in my backpack or I left it in my truck or whatever. So, each have a light for each location. So the truck has a light, the backpack has a light, this has a light. And by doing that, I'm able to not misplace my items like my chest seal and my tourniquet, which is actually just on the other table. So I don't have them handy because they were crap and I threw them out, but it also comes with a little loop that you can put your firearm in. I am not a fan of just using the loop because you run the risk of accidentally turning on your flashlight, or God forbid, like your key pokes through a hole and hits your trigger and next thing you know, you shoot yourself in the nuts. Not a big fan of either of those things. So what I did was I picked up this Vertex, I forget what they call this thing, BAP, I think. It's a belt, it's basically a belt retention device. So it takes your holster that would normally be in your belt and it velcros around and it makes it like it's its own belt so that you can have the holster here and be able to just draw right out of the fanny, which is very, very nice. All right, so again, to be able to just put it back in, pull it out nice. Sorry, I'm just trying not to yank anything too much here, but anyway, so we'll just set this aside for a second and I can show you this real quick. This isn't a review on the Vertex products, so I don't want to get into it too much. All right, so it's just a little hook paneling here. You just adjust it around whatever holster or any device that you want for that matter. They do come in a few different sizes. I think this is the medium. The large I think is like a 2-piece. And then the small are, again, just same thing but smaller. You just adjust it wherever you want. You get your holster in a good spot, whatever, so that you can put your firearm right in, and then you are good to go. All right, so boom, just like that. Now, size-wise, so here I have a Shadow System CR 920 XP, which means that it is the same size as a Glock 48 MOS with the optic and everything, which, as you know, is just a thinner version of a Glock 19. So that Glock 19, I used to carry in this thing all the dang time. It was perfectly fine. Never had any issues. It adds a little bit of thickness to the bag, but I prefer to carry the Glock 19 if I'm being completely honest. I do want to use those Glock magazines for the interchangeability. If I want to throw a Glock 17 mag in there, I could. I did also, I fit a Glock 45 MOS. I've had a Glock 17 MOS in here. I've had an FN 509 tactical. Again, so that means that your SIG, like your 320s, are all going to fit in here perfectly fine. So most of your full-size firearms are going to fit in here perfectly fine, which is a huge, huge plus. I really, really like that. All right. So, like I said, this wasn't meant to be a knock on Sheepdog Response. I do love and wish I never destroyed this thing. But the fact that I got this one as a replacement and have not been happy with it, again, replacement with my own money, I don't necessarily want to buy a third Fanny from them and risk it not being just as good as this one. So that, I mean, that is going to change things, right? The whole purpose of this project that we're doing here is to not waste your money, to not overspend. You know, so I say if you're going to buy one, maybe stay away from the black, go for the gray, and hope that they give you the canvas, the correct canvas. And if it's not this like slicker, smoother, softer canvas, return it. I'd hate to say it, hate to knock them or anything, but just return it. I've had some issues with some of their other stuff as well, and going forward, if I ever did buy from them again, I would indeed return it, assuming that it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And there's no harm, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, it's your hard-earned money. You should definitely put it to best use, right? And not waste it. It's funny because after doing this review, I think I'm going to change out the tabs on all my zippers and put these tabs on to this black Fanny. I just freaking wish I could have changed this buckle somehow and been able to reuse this one. But it makes a phenomenal med kit. Again, I throw like a tourniquet in here, I throw an Israeli bandage in here, I put my admin panel on here, and I fill this with all of the essentials that I need. I go ahead and put additional stuff in here, and then in the front, I like to keep my little boo-boo kit for the kids so that I'm not pulling this thing out and having to go through everything, but I usually keep like a Ziploc, you know, some Neosporin, a couple Band-Aids, a little bit of wrap, and maybe even ice pack depending on what we're doing. But it works well. You can throw scissors in here. There's plenty of space. So I definitely use this, and I shove it in my EDC bag as just a quick med kit that I can just grab out and go. So guys, that's me being long-winded, but also wanted to give you the best information possible. I know it's a pain when you've got these things in your shopping cart and you haven't decided, like, am I going to pull the trigger on this? Am I going to buy it or not? Really do think that if you can get a good sale on these, definitely go for this one and try to get the better quality, return it. I'm going to follow up with a review on a smaller fanny pack from LAPG coming up here soon that I also like as well. But again, everything has its pros and cons. Not everything is perfect. So we'll just leave it at that. Don't forget to check out the new website, civarmory.com. Nothing's changed there, it's just a new website. And then follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, anywhere you can follow us. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the mailing list. I mean, that mailing list is me sending out something to you. It's not automated. I'm making the emails. I'm sending them out. You know, I'm giving you guys discount codes, or, you know, for example, like a huge ammo sale from my vendors. I just pass it right on to you, and I just cover the cost of doing business. That's all. So there's that. Yeah, civarmory.com. Subscribe for the newsletter. Add it to your contacts so you don't miss everything. I mean, we had an Anderson rifle available for, I think, like $389 or something like that, and only a few people took advantage of it, and now they're gone. So anyway, take it easy, guys. Until next time.